Okay, cool.
Hey everyone, I'm Thomas.
Hi.
And I'm Gennady.
We founded Moon Studios during the rise of independent games in 2010.
Back then, there weren't all that many modern Metroidvania games out there, and so we created Ori and the Blind Forest.
It did.
Ori became a huge success with gamers and critics alike, and it helped spark new interest in the genre.
Our next project was supposed to be something totally different.
I enjoyed
because
Ori.
For over 20 years, we've been
Very hard on
playing
mouse and keyboard.
Metroidvania religiously, and we always dreamt of where this genre could be taken next. At the same time, we felt that we could do even more within the Metroidvania genre, and so we embarked on making Ori and the Will of the Wisps. We ultimately shipped another game that was incredibly well received and that we're deeply, deeply proud of.
But we had never forgotten about our dream of creating our own action RPG. We have left our mark on one genre before.
Looks so
and we hope
pretty.
to do the same for action RPGs.
Our story begins 841 years after the Embrace. King Harrow is dead, and he's to be succeeded by his young and untested son Magnus. Meanwhile, rumors of the return of a great plague, known as the Pestilence, are starting to emerge. Madrigal Celine, a ruthless figure in the church, sees the Pestilence as a chance to prove herself. These forces converge on the backwater of Isola Sacra, where rebel groups and the provincial government fight
Very
for control
stylized.
amid the Isle's crumbling ruins. As a Sarim, a member of an ancient sect devoted to defeating the Pestilence, you are sent on a merchant ship.
They made Ori?
to
Yeah, yeah. So they're gonna like carry on with that art style,
Your ship comes
but in
under
a
attack from
action
the
RPG,
rebel
which I think is
group known
dope.
as the Risen. The battle
Is it loud
leaves
enough, by the way?
battered and badly damaged. The ship stands little chance as it limps towards the shore, and it is torn apart on the rocks at sea. You find yourself washed up at the shores of Isola Sacra, bruised and unarmed. and
They're also
end up
taking a
fighting
similar
against the
approach to
foe
like Path of
fast
Exile, where it's a bit more
people
action
fight.
orientated in the combat, rather than just click and spam an ability kind of thing.
With no rest for the wicked,
How's that?
we decided to handcraft an entirely seamless world. Nothing in this game is procedurally generated.
Look at the way the ground like
Instead of
revolves.
moving across a randomly generated flat plane, throughout this showcase, you will notice that our world is dense, interactive, uses a ton of verticality, and that every inch was crafted by a designer. You'll be well served, always paying attention to your surroundings too. There are secret areas just about everywhere that usually reward you with precious items. Loot in No Rest for the Wicked is randomized.
There's a stamina
It
gauge.
ensures that every player has their own unique experience, and that every time you explore an area, you might just finally get that last gold ore or new battle axe you've been waiting for. We abandoned the old point-and-click model to move your character around. We wanted players to have ultimate control over their character. Every movement you make should feel tactile and be intentional. For that reason, we designed Wicked to be played using WASD or a controller.
I knew
Of
it.
course.
Should have never brought you on board. You'll never make it to Sacrament from here.
Instead of going for realism, our goal is always to create games that look like a painting come to life. Our artists spent years meticulously modeling and hand painting all
It is
of
very
Isola
pretty.
Sacra. You will traverse through plenty of breathtakingly beautiful environments, lit with natural day and night cycles,
Fashion
immersed
souls.
in dynamic weather.
With the hat.
We also engineered a very special way of rendering our top-down world, where you can
Welcome back,
always
PT.
see so much further into the distance. Our goal was to make everything as interactive as possible. If an object looks like you can climb it, then you can actually climb it.
Not yet, no. I just made some food. So I
if an
figured I'd use
object is
this
too thin
opportunity to
walk
finally watch
over
the
it,
gameplay
you
for
might
No
just
Rest
need
for the
to
Wicked.
balance your way across.
That's a lot of verticality. And yeah, keep seeing little circles, stamina gauge.
Right from the start, we decided to create an animation-driven combat system, which to us meant that every attack you make should be carefully considered. We wanted to bring weighty, precision-driven combat to the top-down space. Combat that's inspired by several different genres, from ARPGs to fighting games. In order to overcome an opponent, you need to watch out for telegraphed behaviors and then punish accordingly.
I wonder what that other bar is.
Timing,
red one.
spacing, and weapon weight are incredibly important in Wicked's combat model. In No Rest for the Wicked, every single weapon has its own unique moveset and stats driven by RNG. Using this dagger, I'll have a hard time breaking this enemy's shield. Let's try something different.
A parry? A parry.
If you time it just right, you can parry incoming attacks, allowing you to exploit an enemy's opening. Gear in No Rest for the Wicked comes in 4 different rarities. White items are common, unlike in other.
Okay, so the weapons have different movesets as well. So you got like slashing pirouette on the rusted sword, but a dual breaker on the knives. Jungle strike on the other sword, jump cut, and one says empty, so it looks like you can probably put moves onto the weapon as well. Crafting system, hello. Gain 9 of whatever the fuck that is, presumably a stat. I'm guessing the cost is stamina, a swing or something. Attack speed, stamina on parry, attacks to plague damage. 9% focus. Equip load decreased. Oh no! No! Not a weight system, please! No! No! Oh, I hope they. Oh no! If they're gonna do a weight system, it better not have Tetris as well. I like Tetris, to be clear. I like Tetris. I prefer it to weight systems. But if they have Tetris and weight system, that's annoying as fuck. Durability? I don't... Oh, wait, yeah, no, there is durability as well. I am not a fan. Like, I do prefer... Like, I think it's an archaic thing. I get why they do it, because it adds weight. And I do believe there are times when you should add weight, like with the Tetris system in your inventory. I think that definitely does it. Durability is more of a chore, though, I feel like. Because it's something you ignore until you need to do a repair. I know it can act as a gold sink or currency sink, but It's like a really lazy one, in my opinion, so not a fan. But yeah, weight system. Ugh. What else is there? Health, rune attacks. Okay. Different damage types. I'm interested to see what that gain thing is, though. There's also the shield symbol. I'm guessing that you can block with weapons. And it's not exclusive to, like, shields.
Other ERPGs bring
Interesting.
lots of trash loot. We instead made those the most customizable. Blue items are rare. They offer only positive enchantments. Purple items are cursed. They offer very positive enchantments, but they also come with a cursed enchantment. Gold items are unique. They are specifically handcrafted by our designers and offer unique enchantments. This rare claymore we found has an enchantment that
Okay, no
increases my
Tetris.
focus gain whenever I deal damage. Every weapon has a chance to drop with its own unique rune, which can then be extracted and used on other weapons. That way, players can come up with their own unique moveset. You gain focus through combat. It is then used to perform rune attacks. Let's try one.
Not to meme or be reductive, but this very much looks like the Dark Souls of action RPGs. You know what I
But
mean?
every now and then, you might not even need to use your weapons to get
I know
rid
that's
of
really memey, but like actually, like
Sometimes
everything
all
about
you
it
need is
feels
a
like
little
Dark
push.
Souls, but isometric.
Every
Which is a good
weapon you
thing.
find in No Rest
And again, I don't want to
has
sound
its own
reductive.
bespoke moveset, custom made by our incredible animation department. Squash and stretch and other animation
I'm noticing
principles
some frame
directly
drops though,
inform
and this is
our
presumably on a
combat
dev kit.
design. Layered on top of that, enchantments that drastically impact weapon behavior, and our deep rune system. All of this culminates in a weapon system that we feel is extremely fun and engaging and allows every player to create their own style of combat. When it comes to gear like armor, there is a wide range of options, each with their own design
Good
and
punch on that
attributes.
man.
The weight of such items even affects your movement in combat. For instance, if you opt in for a lighter, faster build, you can quick step out of enemies' way. Quick steps are fast and don't consume a lot of stamina. With medium weight build, your character will dodge roll. Those are slower and consume more stamina.
For No Rest for the Wicked, we designed a soft class system. Instead of locking you into a character class,
I wonder if
you
the
didn't
weight
have to
system only
adhere to
applies
for
to the
entire
rolling though,
playthrough.
and
We
technically
want
you
to have
can
the
loot whatever the
flexibility
fuck you
and
want. It's
freedom
just the weights
to play
apply
as the
to you
type
when you
of
equip
character
it.
you want to, and even come
If
out
that's
with
the
character
case,
classes
I'll be okay
we
with it.
haven't even thought of.
So far, we've shown what combat looks like with a more melee-focused build. Let's take a look at how combat changes for a mage. This character build uses a two-handed staff. We have 3 rune specials available: Blink,
I like that.
Fireball.
I wish there was more like melee staff stuff, like quarterstaff. I'm all about the
Fighting
quarterstaff
multiple
and spear
enemies is
especially.
always tricky.
Like in New World, it seems that way.
When used right,
Or I
Nova
hope
can
it's
be
that
an
way.
absolute blast.
The uniqueness of each item you find or craft, being able to create any character build you can think of through our soft class system.
If you can
and
do a
your
melee
randomized
staff
loot,
build, I would be
all of
so
these
down to do
systems
that.
combine to ensure each playthrough and every player's experience is never truly the same.
I Soa Sakura is riddled with plagued enemies known as the Torn. As you can see, this Torn has been left to mutate and fester and will prove particularly vicious. Our best course of action is to study his moves and attack whenever
Camera
we see
moves a
opening.
lot.
Bosses are also quite brutal in No Rest for the Wicked. They will punish every mistake you will make. But keep a cool head, make use of all of the skills you've learned, and you just might succeed. As you can see, No Rest for the Wicked is an intensely skill-based game. Your gear greatly influences your power in battle, but whether you die or overcome the challenge is ultimately down to your skill.
That's some clean looking hitboxes, I'm not gonna lie. That looked really clean, but the way the cameras constantly zoom in
Along
and
your
out
journey,
is a
you will
little
come across the town of Sacrament,
disorientating.
the capital of Hisoa Sakura. Sacrament is a war-torn place, but over the course of your journey, you can help rebuild Sacrament to its former glory.
Oh, ignore their gates, Saren. They likely never seen one of your kind.
In order to demonstrate that, we'll switch to a realm that's already a little more advanced. Our goal is to make Sacrament as interesting and interactive as possible.
Read about it, Mary Weather. Taylor's at your service. Mary, we agreed. My name goes first.
Don't pretend you don't smell it. Come have a taste.
And players will be in
There's a joke
control
in there
of how
somewhere.
Sacrament will evolve over time. For example, after my previous expedition, I helped Fillmore rebuild his smithy. He now sells better gear and is also able to upgrade our gear to a higher level. To that effect,
Damn it.
we aim to make
I wanted to see more of the
investing
crafting.
resources into Sacrament as satisfying and rewarding as investing resources into your character is. Let's take a look at another way you can make Sacrament your own.
In Sacrament, you'll be able to purchase real estate. Well, if you have the funds to afford it.
The city's gone to shit.
Property in Sacrament can get a little bit expensive, but accumulate the riches and you can choose from a wide range of properties to suit anyone's taste. Your house is the perfect place to stash your loot, craft items, relax, and plan everything out for your next big run through the dangerous areas surrounding Sacrament. I just moved in here, so it's a little bit barren.
Basically a hideout.
Let's fix that.
In PoE terms, of
Out
course.
on your journey, you'll be able to collect or harvest valuable resources, which then can be used to craft new gear, furniture for your home, or even make improvements to the town itself. Catch a fish, for example, and it can be cooked and eaten, of course. But certain fish scales might
I don't know if I like this or not.
fine armor.
I think it depends on how big the game
While
is.
I was on the shores of Sakura, I collected some pine wood. So now let's
Like, if
make
the
use
game
of
is
that and make this
fucking
place
massive.
a little bit more cozy.
And it takes you really long to do, like a survival game, then I can appreciate these
Housing
mechanics.
is incredibly cool in No Rest for the Wicked. Since you're not constrained to a grid, you can come up with some really organic looking designs. The table looks nice, but it's missing something. It was much better. While some items you can place in your house are just cosmetic, our goal is for most of them to be functional and have a gameplay purpose. With a range of properties to purchase and an incredibly flexible interior design system, we hope players
I can
will be
imagine the
able to
campaign's
find
only
and
like 20
design
hours long, and it's
unique
like, do you
ways
really want to go
for
through the
them
faff
to
of
call
collecting
home.
materials to build shit for a 20-hour game? I know I don't.
last thing we'd like to show you today is a system we call Alive. Although No Rest for the Wicked features a traditional campaign, it was important to us that Isola Secra is very much a living, breathing world. In order to show you what that means, we're going to go to an area called Mariner's Keep. This is an area I've previously ventured through and explored. However, since my last journey through here, Nif have overrun the local area, presenting entirely new threats for me to tackle and resources for me to scavenge. The world of No Rest for the Wicked is constantly changing around you. And each time you visit a region, you'll be faced with a drastically different experience.
Damn. I do wonder how much replayability there is
No Rest for the Wicked.
in the game though.
You never really know what to expect. For those of you who asked about Endgame, yes, we've got you covered. While we don't want to give away too much at this point, once you reach the Endgame, you can enter the Sarum Crucible. This is where you'll have to test your metal against some of the toughest enemies within No Rest for the Wicked.
Our goal is
Oh, come
and always
on.
has been to create a very different action RPG, one that will hopefully move
So
the
there's
genre forward.
1
We believe
slash
that Moon Studios is
point
in an
5
incredibly unique position to
end game
deliver
system.
on this vision. We have some of the best talent in the world united behind this. And we're not afraid to take the risks that need to be taken in order to change
I'm
up
guessing the thing they
status
didn't
quo.
show was
We've
just a
poured an
procedurally
incredible amount of
generated
blood,
dungeon.
sweat and tears into this project. And now we're at a point where we need your help to shape and build Wicked into the best game it can possibly be.
Therefore, we'd like to invite all of you who love this genre, who grew up with it the same way we did, and who are excited to see a new take on it, to join us on this journey. And so we're happy to announce that we're going to be launching No Rest for the Wicked after all of these years into Steam Early Access next month on April 18th.
Over the course of early access, we'll be tweaking, patching, and balancing the game with your input. And you will also see major content updates throughout development until we hit our 1.0 release, at which point we're planning to release
No, there is
on
gonna be
consoles
multiplayer.
as well.
Wicked has been built from the ground up with multiplayer in mind. So the first of these major updates that we will be releasing in early access will be providing you with an innovative multiplayer experience, allowing you to play Wicked alongside or even against your friends.
PvP
Our
arena?
second major content update will bring all new regions to Sakura, new enemies, narrative updates, and so much more.
That could be sick.
Story, system, and gameplay content updates to follow thereafter.
Your support and feedback during this very critical part of early access really does make a difference. No Rest for the Wicked begins a new era for Moon Studios, and we're committed to this project for the long run.
We're incredibly excited about what will be No Rest for the Wicked already in day one of early access, and we can't wait to show you all the stuff that will follow in the months to come. Once the showcase is over, be sure to tune in to your favorite media and content creators for the hands-on impressions of No Rest for the Wicked immediately following this showcase.
We can't wait to see you all on April 18th.
I think it looks cool, but I kind of need to know on whether or not it's going to be a live service or a live service model, because a lot of the vibe is that you play it once and you've got these like hand drawn and specific like zones and stuff like that, so when you replay it, it's the same. Whereas if it's a live service model, obviously they'll be adding content continuously, which will mix it up a bit, and that adds more replayability, like with Last Epoch, with Path of Exile and such. So, like, if it is not a live service model, that's fine, because then I can play it through maybe once, maybe twice, and they'll be like, yeah, I had a good time, and then move on. But the fact that they're promoting endgame content sets expectations, and I want to know if that that endgame content is going to be worth my time. You know what I mean? Or is it setting me up for disappointment? And are they going to add more systems over time? It looks really good though. It does look really good in terms of like gameplay, the art style. It's very stylized, very pretty. The hitboxes look clean. We'll have to see though. You will have to see. Oh, that food was gorgeous. Excuse me. Let's get a review. Bring back OBS. What did you guys think? Well, no, because to be a live service, it doesn't have to have multiplayer. Plus, it's getting multiplayer. A live service just means that stuff gets added to it continuously. Like every 3 months with PoE or Last Epoch or Diablo 4, for example. Whereas if it's you buy it, you play it, you finish it, you may indulge in the end game a little bit, but the intent is you're probably done with the game after 2 weeks. That comes with a different mindset and different expectations.